Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Royal watcher Diana Elsa tore into King Charles over his treatment of Andrew. Elsa in the news writes, "What punishment is Andrew facing for bringing one of the most sordid and upsetting scandals in modern history down on the heads of the royal family? What price is he being forced to pay for having death of scruples and good judgment and his willingness to spend holidays on 3 continents with a man that the world now knows abused and trafficked underage girls? The king might write a strongly worded letter and ask him to consider moving into a smaller house. Golly, that'll really show him." In the past 15 months, Harry and Meghan have been afforded one humiliation after another, from the Duke of Sussex being dumped in the 3rd row at the coronation, to them being publicly blanked on their and their children's birthdays, to Harry being denied the chance to wear any sort of official garb or uniform for his grandmother's funeral or father's crowning, to them being turfed out of Frogmore. And Andrew, in the same period of time, the Duke was given the thumbs up to join the King and the royal family for the high-profile Easter service, permitted to wear his Order of the Garter robes to Charles' coronation, given tickets to the coronation concert, has managed to keep the keys so far to the Royal Lodge, was pointedly driven to the church by William and Kate. The Prince and Princess of Wales is reportedly still being allowed to host a shooting weekend at Windsor, was welcome to join the King and Queen for the formal swearing-in of the new Dean of Windsor in November, driving himself there in his $420,000 Bentley, was still receiving meals sent over from Windsor Castle, and handed a starring role in the royal family's Christmas Day walkabout for the 2nd year in a row, even though the world knew that this Epstein document dump was incoming. Charles has seen fit that to ensure that Harry and Meghan are being forced to take their lumps for having staged an on-camera coup, while Andrew is pottering around Windsor in a car that costs only marginally less than the average UK house price, and lint-rolling his garter robes, his membership of the most prestigious and hallowed chivalric order never in doubt. The vast difference in the approaches that the king has taken when it comes to handling his son versus his brother would seem to suggest that in His Majesty's book, Betraying Secrets and Badly Embarrassing the Royal Family on Netflix and in airport bookshops are far greater sins. Prince Andrew was photographed leaving his residence at the Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate shortly after allegations emerged that sex tapes involving him and former US President Bill Clinton were taken by a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Driving his green Range Rover solo, Prince Andrew appeared solemn as he renewed focus on his past association with Epstein came to the forefront. This sighting marks the first time Prince Andrew has been photographed since the release of the Epstein court documents last week. Insiders have suggested that he had been opting to stay out of the public eye following the documents' release, which included his repeated mention and involvement in the case. Royal author Tom Bower spoke to Talk TV about Harry and Meghan, saying, "The idea that they have anything other to contribute beyond their trashing of the royal family is laughable. They've been found out. They are now ridiculed in Hollywood. They are ignored in New York. They set themselves up to be living like royals, but their income is pretty limited." Bower claims that the tension between the Sussexes would be enormous were they to run out of money. He said, "If pushed into a corner financially, they may be desperate and say some more terrible things." Lady Colin Campbell made a mysterious comment to GB News. She said that for Harry and Meghan, "I can guarantee that they're going to get an awful lot worse. Wait until spring. They have a real bomb coming their way in spring. I think they're going to be completely exposed before this summer. Let me put it that way. I think they are going to be in such deep trouble, it's going to be nothing that we can imagine. I think the chickens are coming home to roost in a very big way." Palace Intrigue will be right back. King Charles' niece, Zara Tindall, and her husband, Mike, were recently seen displaying affection while enjoying a break in Australia. Mike playfully pinched his wife's cheek, and the couple shared a sweet embrace while basking in the warmth of the summer sun. Their public display of affection highlighted the joy of their downtime together in Australia. Some royal watchers also quite enjoyed Zara's choice of bikini. Differently eye-catching was Princess Anne as she arrived in Sri Lanka for her 3-day visit. The Princess Royal, accompanied by her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, was spotted sporting oversized sunglasses as she descended from the plane. Her trip is a celebration of the UK's connections with the Commonwealth nation. Upon their arrival, a vibrant ensemble of dancers and musicians welcomed the couple, creating a mesmerizing atmosphere with rhythmic drumming in the hot and humid conditions. Princess Anne's visit, made at the request of the Foreign Office, kicks off a whirlwind tour aimed at strengthening the UK's bilateral relations with Sri Lanka. A replica of the gold stage coach featured in the hit series The Crown is set to go up for auction with a starting price of £30,000. This replica, one of the standout items from the sale of props used in the making of the 6th series show, is a rare opportunity for fans and collectors. Notable pieces up for sale include costumes created for the recreation of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation, including the iconic red velvet robe of state with an estimated value starting at £20,000. One particularly famous item is the replica of the revenge dress worn by Diana, Princess of Wales, which was featured in the series and worn by Elizabeth Debicki in her role. The gown has a starting estimate of £8,000. An exhibition in London is showcasing these items ahead of the auction, which is scheduled for February 7th and will feature 150 lots. Additionally, 300 items will be available for online bidding between now and February 8th. The proceeds from the live auction will go towards establishing a scholarship at the National Film and Television School. A 26-year-old man has been sentenced for attempting to defraud eBay buyers by falsely claiming to sell a walking stick that he alleged was used by the late Queen Elizabeth II. The man had asserted that he was a senior footman at Windsor Castle and the proceeds from the sale of the antler walking stick would be donated to cancer research. The auction had garnered a bid of £540 before he terminated the listing upon learning of a police investigation. He was found guilty of fraud by false representation at Southampton Magistrates Court and was subsequently sentenced to a 12-month community order. Julie Macy, a senior Crown prosecutor, remarked that Marshall's actions were driven by greed and a desire for attention, using the death of Queen Elizabeth II to perpetrate a fake charity auction. Fortunately, his scheme was uncovered before he could deceive any unsuspecting victims. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. Hey, we're coming up on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We just need a few more, so hit that subscribe button for us. It really helps us out. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.